friends! The timing of this video is kind of interesting because I had already been planning on making a video talking about why I'm still obsessed with Harry Potter, because I am currently doing my second annual Harry Potter birthday giveaway for my birthday on August the 9th. You can enter on Instagram, so if you want a chance to win a bunch of Harry Potter stuff, then go to my Instagram. The link is in the description of the video and get all of the details on how to enter. But I was already going to make this video talking about why Harry Potter still holds up for me. And the reason I say that the timing of this is kind of funny is that within the last couple days there was this article by the New York Post with some guy talking about basically how millennials, it's weird that they're so obsessed with like nostalgia and all of these kind of childhood things and how it prohibits them from being functional adults. I don't know. I mean, he just sounded like really embittered, and it's just like, who hurt you? Why are you so sad? And the thing is, it's really obvious that what he was trying to do was like get a reaction and get people talking about it to drive traffic to the website, and that's exactly what happened. So I mean, he knew what he was doing. But it kind of coincides with me about to turn 31. I've talked about this before about how it can be a little like hard and weird sometimes when so much of what I do has to do with like young adult stuff and wondering, am I too old for this? It's just a bit of an insecurity of mine, especially when I realize how much younger a lot of you guys are than I am. And so kind of roped in with that is everybody that knows me knows that I love Harry Potter so much, and that has not lessened as I have gotten older. And I think it's for a lot of reasons, and I'll talk about those reasons. But ultimately the conclusion that I've come to whenever I've had this debate with myself about like what I'm too old for is, first of all, a lot of the people writing the type of books that I read and write songs about, those authors are older than I am. It's not like a young person's game when it comes to the people that are writing about these experiences. Really, when it comes down to it, you like what you like, as long as it's not hurting anybody, if it gives you joy. Like, the world can be a very shitty place. Embrace what gives you joy. I think my kind of nostalgia comes in the form of Harry Potter more so than Disney, but the people that love Disney, especially the people in kind of my age group, that like, how cool was it that all of these movies that came out, you know, The Lion King, Toy Story, Aladdin, all of these movies that are classics, like classics, we got to see them in theaters. We got to see them when they first came out, and that was such a cool experience. Like, that was a cool way to have a childhood. And things got really hard. A lot of us that come 2008 were about to graduate college, and we hit the recession, and all of a sudden it was like all of these jobs and this whole you can be whatever you want to be promise kind of all went away. There was nothing that was guaranteed. I'm speaking for myself. I don't want to generalize about everybody, but I know for me, when it comes to revisiting things that gave me joy as a kid, it's because like being an adult kind of sucks sometimes, and the timing of when I became an adult was very stressful. So it's nice to go back and escape into these things from like a simpler and happy time. And the same thing kind of goes for Harry Potter. The biggest thing for me of why Harry Potter was so important and formative to me is that, again, those books were coming out as I was growing up. I first started reading the Harry Potter books when I was in middle school. At that point, I think 3 of the books had been released, so Prisoner of Azkaban was out. And the funny thing is, I wasn't even the first one in my family to read them. My mom was. It was already a phenomenon, but it was not the kind of book that I normally read, so I was a typical middle school girl and thought that I was too cool for it. But my mom decided to read them, and I will never forget, she said, read the first chapter of the first book, and if you're not hooked, then I'm gonna stop bugging you about this. There's a very small percentage of people that can read the first chapter of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone and not be like completely into it. And the really cool thing about that time period is that big books had these midnight releases for the physical copies. There were always, whenever a new book was released, it was such a big deal as far as like pre-ordering it, and then you'd go and a lot of the bookstores would have these huge events for launching. All of these people who all loved this and were as excited about this as you were all gathered together, and you all like waited until midnight, because midnight was when it came out. And it was just such a fun experience, and I hope that you guys, if you haven't gotten to already, I don't even know if they do midnight book releases anymore, and I honestly don't know that they'll ever have anything that was quite as like buzzing with excitement as the release of a new Harry Potter book, but I hope that you guys get to experience that because it's one of my favorite memories of being a young person. Every year, every other year as the books were coming out, you know, going at midnight to be able to get your copy. And then even more so than that, and you have to keep in mind this was before the internet was like as big of a thing as it is, so you still like had to make sure you didn't go on the internet for spoilers, but really the feeling of like, okay, now I've got this book and I have to read it as fast as I can. I'm not gonna talk to anybody else. I just have to completely consume this so I don't get any kind of spoilers or anything before I've read it. So it was great because I just remember a couple of them where I would go with friends and it would be like this great social event for the midnight release, so we'd all like get together and hang out until the books came out, and then we would all go and just like separate and read. It was just so much fun. It was just such a fun thing. And the Harry Potter books, I've said this before, I just wish that I could erase all of it and read it again for the first time, because there's just nothing like reading those books for the first time. And then it was kind of the same thing with the movie premieres. I mean, I went to so many midnight movie premieres for the Harry Potter movies, and I'll never forget, I remember, I think it was my senior year that the 4th movie came out. We were actually going on a big school trip to Washington, D.C. and had to be at the school to leave on the big buses. I don't know, like 5:30 in the morning or something insane, but the midnight before was when the movie came out. So a whole bunch of us just said, screw it. We're gonna like wait and we're gonna go see the movie at midnight, and then we're gonna go home and sleep for like 2 hours and then go and get on these buses to go on this school trip. And it was just such an important like social thing and cultural thing, and being able to take part in that was one of the coolest things that I could ever have imagined for growing up. And then of course there's the books themselves. The way that J.K. Rowling was able to completely transport you into this world, and all of the details, and the fact that she wove all of these details together, that even things that happened in the 7th book were already being set up in the early books. It's just so smart, and it's just so amazing to be able to escape the real world and kind of go into this world that's so detailed that it really makes you feel like it's real. She has to be one of the like prime examples of world building done right. Just the nuances that she uses, the humor and the characters, I don't know, the books themselves are just great. And I think it's really hard to be able to balance kind of this light-hearted, fun, whimsical world with very real problems that, you know, are a really good kind of metaphor for a lot of the problems and biases that real people have in the real world. Finding a way to be able to put those two things together that works is, I imagine, not easy. And she just found a really nice way to be able to have those dark moments and show kind of the worst parts of humanity, but still have those joyous moments and those kind of adventures and wondrous moments. It just was a really nice balance. This many years later, which it's so weird when you go online, and I think the one I saw today was like 28 years ago, Harry got all of his, you know, letters for his invitation to come to Hogwarts, and I'm just like, 28 years? That's insane. It's such a testament to how good it is that people love Harry Potter as much now as they did back when they were first coming out. Hell, there's more Harry Potter merchandise out now than there ever was when I was a kid. I think part of the reason is that those books really hold up even after all this time. I didn't even plan that. But I enjoy reading them as much as a 30-year-old as I did back when I was a kid. There's very few books and series that can span that big of an age range and do it successfully, and Harry Potter's done that. So I love Harry Potter. Harry Potter is always going to be a part of my life. My guest bedroom is decorated in a Harry Potter theme. It makes me happy. I love it. Whether it's Harry Potter or Disney or Marvel comic books, whatever you love, just love it unapologetically. I hope you will go to my Instagram and enter the Harry Potter birthday giveaway. I had such a fun time doing it last year that I have literally been collecting things and accumulating things for this giveaway since last year. And I'm just happy to share stuff with other fellow Harry Potter friends. I hope you guys have been enjoying Classic. I've got a music video coming out for that very soon, and then some more music announcement stuff to be making over the next little stretch, so just stay tuned, and I will see you next time. Bye!